Tokyo's Lost Train, a horror story. The neon glow of Tokyo flickered through the rain-streaked windows as Kenji boarded the lost train home. The Yamanote line was nearly empty, just a few tired souls scattered across the dimly lit carriage. He exhaled, relieved to have caught the train. Missing it meant a long, cold wait until morning. As the door slid shut with a mechanical hum, Kenji felt an uneasy stillness settle over the train. Something felt off. He glanced around. A woman in a pale kimono sat in the far corner, her head lowered. An old man in a business suit clutched a briefcase, staring straight ahead. A teenage boy tapped furiously on his phone, his face illuminated by the screen. Normal enough, yet the air carried a strange weight, thick with something unseen. The train lurched forward, and the overhead lights flickered. Kenji shivered. It was unusually cold for a summer night. At the next stop, the doors opened, but no one entered. Instead, an odd static buzzed through the speakers. The automated voice announcing the station name was missing. Just silence. Kenji's stomach twisted. Then he saw it. A man in a dark suit stood on the platform. His face was obscured by shadows, but his posture was rigid, unnatural. As the door started to close, the man took a step forward, into the train. Kenji blinked. The man was gone. The teenage boy's phone slipped from his hands, landing with a sharp crack on the floor. He bent down to pick it up, but when he sat back up, his face was drained of color. "The man," he whispered, his voice barely audible. He sat right next to me." Kenji's heart pounded. The old businessman looked up, his knuckles white around his briefcase. "I saw him too," the old man muttered. "He's been here before." The woman in the kimono remained motionless. Her presence sent a chill up Kenji's spine. She hadn't moved since he boarded. Her long black hair covered her face, but something about her posture felt wrong. The train picked up speed, rushing through tunnels, but no station announcements played. Kenji checked his phone. No signal. The boy, now visibly shaking, whispered, "Where are we?" The windows showed nothing but darkness. No city lights, no signs, just a void. Kenji stood and walked to the door, pressing his face against the glass, trying to see beyond the black abyss. A faint reflection stared back at him, except it wasn't his own. The train screeched to a halt. The doors opened. A station, but it wasn't anywhere Kenji recognized. The platform was old, crumbling, covered in ivy. A single rusted sign swayed in the wind. The name on it was barely legible. Kisaragi Station. Kenji's breath hitched. That name, he had heard it before. An urban legend. A station that didn't exist on any map. A place where people disappeared, never to be seen again. The woman in the kimono finally moved. She lifted her head, revealing hollow, black eyes. She smiled, a slow, unnatural stretch of her lips. Kenji stumbled back as she stood. The doors began to close, but before they shut completely, she whispered one word. "Run." The train jolted, sending Kenji crashing to the floor. The lights flickered wildly. Shadows moved along the walls, whispering, growing louder, closer. The teenage boy screamed as something unseen yanked him into the darkness. The old businessman clutched his chest, his face frozen in silent horror. Kenji scrambled to his feet. The train was speeding up, too fast. The woman in the kimono was gone, but her warning echoed in his mind. "Run." The train rocketed forward, the windows warping into distorted images of twisted faces, reaching hands. Kenji grabbed onto a pole as the train lurched violently. Then, with an ear-splitting screech, it stopped. The doors slid open. Tokyo, Shinjuku Station. Commuters bustled past as if nothing had happened. The train was full, bright, normal. Kenji staggered out onto the platform, his breath coming in short gasps. He turned back to the train, scanning for the teenage boy, the businessman, the woman in the kimono. They were gone. The train doors closed, the headlights dimmed, and as it pulled away, Kenji saw the reflection in the window. The man in the dark suit, still inside, watching him. Kenji never took the last train again, but the nightmare didn't end there. The following nights, he kept waking up at 3:15 a.m. to the sound of a train passing by. Except he lived far from any railway line. Each night, it grew louder, closer. One night, he saw it. From his apartment window, a train, silent, covered in rust, its windows pitch black, rolled past the empty street below. His phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. "Missed your stop." Kenji Drubon. He closed the blinds, heart hammering. The next day, he checked the train schedules. No late-night trains, no tracks near his building. Yet, every night, the phantom train returned, and every night, the message followed. Then, the last message came. "Next time, we'll wait." That night, Kenji disappeared. His apartment was found undisturbed, the door locked from the inside. His phone was on his nightstand, screen cracked, displaying an unsent message. "Don't take the last train.